Welcome back to Talking Serpents. So I thought I'd do a little update on my blue speckled rattlesnake. I'm also going to be making some changes inside this enclosure for the better, doing a lot of research, talking to some other venomous reptile keepers, specifically rattlesnakes, and specifically people that also have speckled rattlesnakes, because not all rattlesnakes are the same at all. Locality is key, and all that good stuff. But I'll get into that a little bit later, and then you can see exactly what I'm talking about and why it's actually really interesting and cool, or at least I think it is. Maybe you will too. I will share that a little bit later. But we're gonna go in the garage right now, and I'm going to be making a custom rock hide. These blue speckled rattlesnakes come from the mountain range in Arizona, and they are in a range that has a lot of blue granite and gray rocks, and they have their own camouflage that mimics those rocks, and most people can't even see that they're there in the rocks. They're absolutely stunning snakes. They're actually very rare. If you didn't know, they're hard to come by, and they're also protected species in that area. So let's go in the garage and make a awesome custom hide for this guy. So what do we got going on here? We got all these natural rocks. Luckily they were honestly like 500 feet away from my house, and I'm pretty excited about that. These rocks are almost perfect coloration to what you would see in the wild, except these are not granite, but I'm okay with that. Close enough. And so I'm gonna be creating a left side cold hide out of all these rocks. So you got one completely surrounding it. You got a top, nice and strong, but I will be securing these together with just testing this out. This is it's a cement, okay? It's cement. And we took these two pieces of rock, and let's see if it'll focus. But yeah, believe it or not, that's two pieces of rock. Super strong bond, works pretty fast. And that's how I will be making 2 rocks into 1 and 3 rocks into 1 and vice versa. Filling up gaps, making it look good. So now it's time to pressure wash these rocks, cleaning them up. You don't need a pressure washer. You can use water, a little bit of bleach, scrub brush, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, rinse, rinse. You get the idea. So I want to replicate what you're going to see in the wild, and that way he can go in here, slither around, coil up, and they do like cooler temperatures during certain parts of the day, honestly most parts of the day. So he'll be able to go in there, and the idea is the sun is on the right side, aka the heating element, and the heat will soak into one side of the rock. And let's just say you've ever been outside and it's warm out, touch the top of the rock, it's warm, you flip it upside down, even if it's really hot out, back side of the rock, if it's thick enough, is not hot. So we're trying to create like a proper cold hide, that way it kind of sinks the heat away. And yeah, I'll talk about that a little later, so let's get washing. Alright, rocks are all cleaned, thoroughly cleaned, and now it's time to seal up and bond, say this rock to this rock, and this rock to this rock, and this rock to this rock, and seal up all these gaps and make this thing rock solid. I've already taken a couple rocks and bonded them together. I'll be using this product from Quickcrete, and it works really nicely. Just mix it with some water, give it a little bit of time, and it is hard as concrete. Who would have known? Alright, well, let's get to the fun part and bond this whole thing together. Formed a nice bond between these 3 rocks. As you can see, they all move as one. Now it's time to put it on the roof in 3, 2, 1. Right now I'm inside a cave. Wait, no, that's ridiculous. Let's be serious here. Come on. Alright, so now this cave I think is looking really good. Honestly, it turned out better than expectations. And I will be putting it on the left side, which is his cold side. And then right now he is right there. inside this little log hide. And time to deliver his present. So far it looks like he's really enjoying it. Either that or I'm just really excited because he really blends in nicely. Looks absolutely incredible. Since I've had this snake for a little while, I've definitely learned some more things and adjusted some things. So I'm just going to talk about that briefly. And this is definitely not a tutorial on how to keep a blue speckled rattlesnake. Honestly, I think most people aren't fit to actually do so since they are potentially dangerous and they are very difficult animals to keep. So we'll just go with that. I'll keep it short. And so I'll start with the first thing. We named the snake. So his name is Zen. I decided to name him Zen since he's always really, honestly, I don't think he has ever rattled at me one time. Nope, never rattled at me one time. It's pretty cool. He's also a very calm snake. To be honest, I could probably pick him up and not get bit, but I'm not going to do that right now. Alright, so let's just start with temperature. Honestly, that was one of the hardest things by far, is temperature with the snake. Although, we just go back to its natural habitat. Like I said, they come from the mountain ranges in Arizona. So, in summertime, it can get a little over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty impressive. They usually like going in these rock hides, just like I've created for him, to escape the summer heat. And they usually come out at night to hunt, and that way they're outside and not in the heat. And then sometimes you can see them in the morning. Sometimes herpers will see them early in the morning as well. So in the winter time, it is, like I said, in a very desert-like area. So it does get very cold. Have you ever been in the desert? When it is wintertime, it's cold. I used to go in the desert all the time in the winter. And yeah, it was cold. So, which makes them pretty special in my eyes, that they have such a wide array of temperature that they are resilient to. Usually you take a lot of other snake species and they have such a small window of temperature that they can withstand before, they die or whatever, or, get a respiratory infection, etc. Which I think makes this pretty special. And I like to keep, what I've been shooting for is between, depending on the time of year, I like to go between 73 and 77 degrees for ambient temperature, although you can change that slightly as well because they can handle higher temperatures in the summer. If it is even wintertime, it can even be 65 degrees in his enclosure. He does great. He eats great, and he's thriving. To be honest, it is it's complicated. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm not gonna lie here. This snake's a pain in the butt to keep, but I'll make it work. We'll just keep it as that. So the next triumph about the snake, I had to figure out how to properly heat the reptile enclosure. Yeah, I know that sounds weird because I build custom reptile enclosure kits. So I'm doing it for years, and this one was odd because, like I said, the ambient temperature was much lower than usual, and we do have central, heating and air conditioning in my house. So we keep the temperatures, at a nice temperature in the house itself. For some parts of the year, obviously summertime, we do have an air conditioner for this room that I keep my venomous snakes in. So that was a pain in the ass for sure. And then finding a basking bulb, so I use heat bulbs in his enclosure, and I had to find a 25 watt basking bulb. I only found one, it's super tiny, found it at Petco if you're interested in that. Also, you can use these things called pup lights. Got these at Home Depot. They use a xenon bulb, and they provide a much smaller heat source in there as well. So that was a triumph for sure. Oh, also, since I have central heating and air conditioning, I have 1, 2, 3 air vents. That way, if the AC is on, it can permeate into the enclosure in one and out the other, and you get it. All right, so lots of airflow to keep the temperatures down in the enclosure as well. So feeding them was also a thing we had to learn as well. I know. You just feed the snake, that's all you gotta do. Just kidding. This snake is also a pain in the ass to feed. You don't want to be feeding it hairy rodents. If you do, they can regurgitate and it can become a perpetual issue and you will kill the snake. So they can be pretty sensitive when it comes to feeding. So we do feed pinky mice because they don't have any fur on them just yet. And you can also do hairless rodents in the wild. I'm pretty sure they feed on lizards. Yeah, lizards as well. But I do see from time to time that blue speckled rattlesnakes will eat small rodents with fur, but if, you know, we're not talking about constantly. Apparently they have a problem with that. It seems like people that have white speckled rattlesnakes have the same issue. Like I said, there really isn't a whole lot of information on these rattlesnakes, and yeah, it kind of makes it difficult, but we learn. We live and we learn. Hopefully we won't learn the hard way, because, you know, you mess up feeding the snake and it regurgitates and it has problems and then it dies. Like I said before, if I hadn't said it, these snakes are rare and they're also not cheap. So for multiple reasons, I definitely don't want to screw that up. So like I said, well, you heard what I said. Yeah, you heard it. Right now he's actually in the back of the hide, nice and dark in there. I'm sure he's stoked. Looks like he likes it. So we're gonna be putting this on the left side of his nice reptile enclosure. All right, let's get it in there. Well, I think it looks good. Looks very naturalistic. Blends in nicely with the background and everything. All right, here we go. Also, if anybody needs a snake hook, I have many different sizes, variations on my website, talkingserpents.com, and for that matter, a reptile enclosure, many different sizes and variations as well. There'll be a link down in the description, or you just go to talkingserpents.com. All right, next stop, feeding time. Feeding time! Time for some mouse tea for these snakes. Got my pinky mouse from my blue speckled rattlesnake. We'll start with him first. See if he's hungry. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ooh, what is that? Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. Ooh!
Ooh, he actually struck.
Awesome. Well, he usually feeds very lazily. And is that a word? I don't really care. You can let me know in the comments how much you care. Yeah, usually feeds in a very lazy manner. Didn't this time, full power. Enjoy. All right, time for my albino western diamondback rattlesnake. This guy is always putting on a show when he eats because, you know what, he likes food. That's why. All right, you ready? Oh yeah, that looks nice. Ooh. Well, he usually bites it and releases, and I put it somewhere next to him this time. Bite and hold. Pumping that thing full of venom. Go. Time for round two. Do 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 do. Well, you want this one too? Oh, you do. Insert mouse here. Enjoy. Also, nice rattle. Sorry, the lighting is kind of meh, but whatever. Got something. All right. If you like the video, strike that like button. If you have any comments, post it. Unless you're one of those rude YouTube commenters, you know who you are. You know the kind. Oh, he did that one thing wrong, we're just gonna stick it to him. Don't laugh. This is serious stuff. Also, don't forget to subscribe. And, is that a new sweatshirt?
Yeah, it's our new venomous sweatshirt.
That's the one with all the different venomous snakes. You probably find it kind of like Where's Waldo? Oh, Black Mamba. Banded Water Cobra. Cottonmouth. I wouldn't wear it. It looks lame. Alright, well, see you in the next video.